Right, so we have a lot of consoles on Nintendo Switch Online now. But could we ever see the Pokemon Mini come to the Switch Online service? I know, it's kind of a wild suggestion, because people watching this video probably don't even know what the Pokemon Mini is. And if they do know what it is, let me know in the comments if you know what the Pokemon Mini is, or you have one. So yeah, I'm going to talk about this in this video, so let's just dive into it. So the Pokemon Mini, for those who don't know, was a little, Tamagotchi-like console released in 2001 in the US and Japan, and 2002 in Europe. It had interchangeable game cartridges, and over its lifetime, it only had 10 games. Although if you're in North America, you only got 4 of those games, and if you're in Europe, you only got 5 of those games. Now, do I think there is a chance we could see these games from the system come to Nintendo Switch Online service in some form? Now, I do think if you asked this question, say, a year ago, 2 years ago, the answer would have been no. But now that we know the Virtual Boy is coming, I think anything is possible. I think it's very possible that Nintendo could, find a way to put these games on the service. Now, obviously, these games are very much inspired by Tamagotchi, so these are like LCD, less graphical, intense games. These games are designed to basically be like quick pick up and play games, which is something that is quite good to really consider when you're doing a service like Switch Online. So, from what I know, there is obviously 10 games, and 5 of them were released in Europe, and 4 of them were released in North America, which means at least around 5 of them would have been translated into English, which is useful, obviously, because obviously Switch Online expansion pack is a worldwide, service. I do think there's a chance that Nintendo does put these games on here, because obviously these are Pokemon spin-off games. These aren't like major Pokemon games. These aren't like Pokemon Emerald or Pokemon Yellow or whatever. So there's a chance that we could actually see these games on Switch Online, because the Pokemon Company probably wouldn't want that much of a license fee and probably wouldn't block the idea of having these games on the service, because it would obviously give a bit more promotion to the Pokemon franchise. Now, the games that they would have on offer would probably be quite basic. Yeah, obviously, Pokemon Pinball is a game that was released on the Pokemon Mini. So was Pokemon Tetris. I reckon we'd get games like that, and obviously, I do expect there to be a drip feed with Nintendo for this, because obviously there is 10 games, and as we saw with the Virtual Boy games are getting drip fed, and there's only like 14 of them, which is kind of surprising, to be honest. I'm still surprised they're even doing the Virtual Boy console. But I digress. I do think, having these games on Switch Online in some form would be quite nice. I do think there will be some issues with some of them, however, because I know in one of the Pokemon games, I think it's called Pokemon Party, which was a packing title for these systems. You have to shake the system to actually play one of the mini games. Although I do think they could work around it, since they obviously clearly have I think it's called gyroscope, because Kirby Tilt and Tumble, which is on the Game Boy app of the system, does require you to tilt the Switch and Switch 2 to move forward. So I do think they could actually work around that issue. Anyway, if you guys have a Pokemon Mini, or you guys know what I'm talking about, the Pokemon Mini, or you guys want to see the Pokemon Mini games on Switch Online, whether it be on the Switch Online or Switch Online expansion pack, let me know in the comments. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, you like, you comment, you do all that sort of stuff, because we are trying to hit 1 billion subscribers. Any help is greatly appreciated hitting 1 billion subscribers. So yeah, I've been EC, and I'm signing out. Peace.